The snowstorm was so fierce that night it looked like the sky was tearing open. People rushed indoors, lights flickered in windows, and the whole town hid from the biting wind. But Ayla, a 22-year-old girl walking home from her late shift at the bakery, didn't hide. She stopped, frozen in shock, when she saw an old woman collapsed near a street lamp, shivering violently, her hands blue with cold. And with her warm breath trembling in the icy air, Ayla whispered, "Ma'am, can you hear me? Please stay awake." That moment changed everything. The rescue in the blizzard. The old woman, later introduced as Mrs. Elina, could barely speak. Her clothes were thin, her boots cracked, and she was clearly lost. Ayla removed her own coat and wrapped it around her. "Come with me," she said gently. "My apartment is small, but it's warm. Please." Ayla lived in a tiny single-room flat above the bakery, barely big enough for one person, but she didn't hesitate to help. She guided Mrs. Elina up the creaky stairs, settled her on the bed, made hot soup, and wrapped her in blankets. The storm raged outside, but inside, Ayla's kindness created a warmth money couldn't buy. Mrs. Elina stared at her with watery eyes. "You didn't even ask who I am, why help me?" Ayla smiled shyly. "Because someday, someone might help my mother the same way." A night of truth. As the wind howled outside, they spoke. Ayla shared how she juggled 2 jobs to support her sick mother in a village far away. How she had no siblings, no fancy life, no savings. Mrs. Elina listened silently, her eyes full of emotion. She tried to reveal something but stopped halfway, clutching her chest in pain. Ayla panicked. "Are you okay?" The old woman steadied herself. "Just tired, dear, thank you." They spent the night in fragile calm. The next morning, a black luxury SUV stopped outside. Ayla was sweeping the snow off her balcony when she heard loud knocks. When she opened the door, a tall, well-dressed man in a long black coat stood there with guards behind him. His face was tense, worried, desperate. "Where is she?" he asked sharply. Ayla stepped back. "Who?" He showed her a picture on his phone. It was Mrs. Elina. "My mother," he said. "She went missing last night. We searched everywhere." Ayla froze. He moved past her into the small apartment, and when his eyes landed on the old woman sitting on the bed, tears instantly filled them. "Mom." He ran to her, holding her as if he'd found something more precious than all the riches he owned. Ayla watched silently, unsure of what to do. The millionaire's son. He introduced himself as Adrian Hale, owner of Hale Industries, one of the most successful companies in the region. His mother had wandered away from her caretaker during the storm. Then he turned to Ayla. "My mother could have died, and you saved her," he said quietly. Ayla shrugged. "Anyone would have." Adrian shook his head. "No. Not in this world. Not in that storm." He looked around the tiny room, broken heater, peeling walls, a single bed. "You gave her warmth even when you barely had any for yourself." Ayla felt embarrassed. She didn't do it for praise or reward. A surprise invitation. Mrs. Elina reached for Ayla's hand. "Come with us," she said softly. "I want you to stay until I'm fully recovered." Ayla shook her head quickly. "No, no. I have work. And this is enough." But Adrian smiled. "We'll take care of everything. Please." Ayla agreed reluctantly, only because the old woman insisted. Life in the mansion. Ayla entered the Hale mansion, and it felt like stepping into another world. Marble floors. Crystal lights. Warm fireplaces. Rooms bigger than her entire apartment. Mrs. Elina asked Ayla to stay in the guest suite and treated her like family. The mansion staff whispered. "Who is she? Why is she here? Is Mr. Adrian interested in her?" Ayla ignored them, focusing on helping the old woman recover. And every day, Adrian watched her. Watched how she brought joy into their home. Watched how she spoke gently to his mother. Watched how she didn't ask for anything, not even gratitude. Slowly, he found himself drawn to her sincerity. The challenge. Not everyone liked Ayla's presence. Adrian's business partner, Clara, who hoped to marry him, confronted Ayla. You think kindness will make you worthy of this family, she sneered. You're a poor baker girl. This world will eat you alive. Ayla stayed quiet. She didn't want conflict. But Mrs. Elina heard everything. That evening, she said gently. Never let anyone make you feel small, my dear. Kindness is a rare treasure, rarer than gold. Ayla held back tears. The big reveal. 1 week later, with her strength restored, Mrs. Elina called Adrian and Ayla to the living room. She looked at her son. Adrian, this girl saved me without knowing who I was. Without expecting anything. I want you to honor her. Adrian nodded. I already planned to. And, she continued, I want to share something else. Both looked confused. Mrs. Elina smiled at Ayla. I didn't wander away by accident that night. I left the house because I wanted to see life, real life. I wanted to see if people still cared. She took Ayla's hands. And I found you. Ayla's mouth fell open in shock. You mean, you were testing people? Not intentionally, the old woman laughed softly. But God led me to you. And because of that, my son must do something he has never done. She looked at Adrian meaningfully. He nodded. The heart-touching offer. Adrian turned to Ayla with sincerity in his eyes. Ayla, we want to support your education, your dreams, and your mother's treatment. No conditions. No expectations. Ayla stepped back, overwhelmed. I can't accept that. I didn't help her for money. Mrs. Elina held her hand. I know. That's why you deserve it. Adrian continued. And there's more, if you're willing. Ayla looked at him nervously. He smiled softly. I'd like to get to know you better, as a friend first. As someone I deeply admire. Ayla's heart pounded. She had never expected her act of kindness to lead her here, into a family, into warmth, into hope. The ending that inspired the town. Word spread across town about the unknown girl who saved a millionaire's mother during the blizzard. But Ayla didn't care about fame. With the Hale's support, she moved her mother to a better hospital. Her bakery job shifted to part-time while she studied again. Mrs. Elina became like a grandmother to her. And Adrian. He became someone she looked forward to seeing every morning. Their story began with a snowstorm, but it blossomed into something warmer than any summer. Because one simple truth remained. Kindness always returns, in ways you never expect. Snow had melted, but something warm still lingered in the Hale mansion, something Ayla didn't dare name yet. A week had passed since the storm and the miraculous encounter. Ayla now visited Mrs. Elina daily, helping her with her walks, meals, and exercises. She tried to keep a respectful distance from the luxury around her, but the old woman's gentle affection kept pulling her closer. And then, there was Adrian. He tried not to stare. She tried not to notice. Both failed almost every time. A new beginning. And new fears. One cold morning, Ayla arrived earlier than usual. She found Mrs. Elina in the garden, wrapped in a thick shawl, admiring the rose bushes. Ayla, dear, Mrs. Elina said warmly, come sit. I must talk to you. Ayla sat nervously beside her. Adrian tells me your mother's condition is improving. Ayla smiled gratefully. Yes. She's responding well to treatment, thanks to your help. Mrs. Elina placed her wrinkled hand over Ayla's. You've helped me far more. Ayla lowered her eyes, flustered. You gave me shelter without hesitation. You treated me with dignity when you had nothing to gain. Her voice softened. Such people are rare, and my son sees that. Ayla's heart skipped. Mrs. Elina, please, don't think wrong. I don't want him to feel obligated. The old woman chuckled. Oh, my dear. Obligation is when you do something because you must. Love is when you do something because you want to. Ayla's face flushed. The unexpected invitation. Later that afternoon, Ayla was about to leave when Adrian stepped into the hallway. You're going already, he asked, trying to hide his disappointment. Yes. I have my bakery shift at 4, she replied. He nodded, but something in his eyes said he wasn't ready to let her go yet. "Ayla, are you free this weekend?" She froze. Maybe. Why?" Adrian inhaled deeply, gathering courage. "There's a charity event my company sponsors every year. A dinner. I'd like you to come." Ayla blinked, stunned. "Me? At a dinner, with millionaires? Adrian. I don't belong there." "Yes, you do," he said firmly. "More than most." Ayla hesitated, her insecurities rising. What if people misunderstand? What if they talk? Adrian stepped closer, his tone gentle but sure. "Let them talk. I just want you there." Her heart trembled at the sincerity in his voice. "I'll think about it," she whispered. The storm inside the mansion. Not everyone was happy. Clara, Adrian's ambitious business partner, watched from a distance, fury burning in her eyes. She had planned for years to win Adrian's interest, and now this simple bakery girl was ruining everything. That evening, Clara stormed into Adrian's office. "You're making a mistake," she snapped. He looked up calmly. "About what?" "That girl. Ayla." Adrian frowned. "She saved my mother." Clara scoffed. "Or she staged it." Adrian's eyes sharpened. "Clara. Enough. You don't know anything about her," she shouted. "She could be lying, manipulating, pretending." "And what about you?" he interrupted coldly. "How much pretending have you done?" Clara's face turned red. "This girl doesn't fit your world," she hissed. "She'll embarrass you." Adrian stood, his voice steady but fierce. "I don't need someone who fits my world, Clara. I need someone who brings meaning to it." Clara's jaw clenched. "This isn't over." She stormed out, her mind burning with jealousy. Ayla's silent war. Back at her apartment, Ayla stared at her reflection in the cracked mirror. What was she doing? She was just Ayla. A bakery worker. A girl with a sick mother. A tiny world. Small dreams. And Adrian Hale belonged to a universe she could never reach. "What if people think I'm using them?" she whispered to herself. What if Adrian regretted knowing her? What if Mrs. Elina's kindness turned into pity? She closed her eyes, overwhelmed. Yet, something in her heart wouldn't let her walk away. Something warm. Something gentle. Something she hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. The gown. 2 days later, a large box arrived at her door. Inside it was the most beautiful evening gown she had ever seen, soft pastel blue with delicate embroidery. Elegant, but not flashy. The kind of dress that made someone look like themselves, just brighter. A small note lay on top. "You deserve to shine. Adrian." Ayla touched the fabric with trembling fingers. No one had ever done something like this for her. The night of the event. When Ayla stepped out of the car in front of the grand event hall, she felt the weight of 100 eyes. Whispers rippled through the crowd. "Who is she?" "She's the girl who saved his mother." "She's not from here, look at her dress." "She's beautiful." Ayla felt her knees weaken. Then Adrian appeared at her side, offering his arm. "You look unbelievable," he whispered. She smiled nervously. "You're just being kind." "No," he said softly. "I'm being honest." The moment that changed everything. During the dinner, a reporter approached Adrian. "Mr. Hale, is this young woman your date?" Ayla almost choked. Adrian looked at her, hesitating for only a heartbeat. Then he answered clearly. "She's someone very important to me." Ayla felt her world spin. Her eyes met his. Something passed between them, quiet, certain, unforgettable. The whole hall murmured in shock. Clara's eyes burned with jealousy. And Mrs. Elina, sitting nearby, smiled knowingly. A slow, beautiful shift. As the evening progressed, Adrian stayed by Ayla's side. He introduced her proudly. He defended her gently. He listened to her, cared for her, protected her from judgmental glances. For the first time, Ayla felt like she wasn't out of place. She felt seen. When the night ended, Adrian walked her outside, the winter breeze cold but soft. "Ayla," he said quietly. "I know all of this is new for you. I know you're scared. But I want you to stay in my life, however you're comfortable." Ayla's heart fluttered painfully. "Why me, Adrian?" He took a slow breath. "Because when the whole world closed its doors, you opened yours." A tear rolled down her cheek. She whispered, "I'll try to be brave." Adrian smiled. "I'll be right beside you." The chapter ends. But their journey begins. As Ayla rode home, holding the dress gently in her lap, she realized something powerful. Kindness had not only saved a life that night, it had changed her own. And now, destiny had opened a new door. What waited behind it would test her heart, her courage, and her belief in her own worth. But she wasn't the same girl she had been before the storm. Now, she had hope.